Morning, sister.
Good morning, sir.
Guns don't work on Sunday.
I bought this watch. I saw some article recently about the watch that Magnum P.I. used to wear back in the 80s on the TV show. I'd never seen the TV show. I used to love MacGyver growing up, but I'd never seen Magnum P.I. for some reason.
Nice day, huh?
What's so nice about it?
Right.
I watched the first episode tonight. It was fine. It was okay. I think I missed the boat on it. I think I probably would have loved it when I was a kid. But, you know, it is what it is. But I guess he wore a watch for the first 3 seasons called the Chronosport Seaquartz 300. And the company that made Chronosport is now called Momentum, and they're making a Magnum P.I. watch of their own. And this watch here, it's kind of a ripoff. I don't know if you guys can see, it's the minute hands obscuring it. But this is called Chronoports, not Chronosports, Chronoports. There's a duck on there, and it's pretty cute. It looks like a pretty faithful recreation in most ways. The biggest difference being that it has a DLC bezel, which I really don't like. There's actually quite a few things about this watch that I do not like, and that's why I wanted to make this video before I flipped it. As you can see, it's quartz. I'm not a huge fan of quartz watches, but this watch, that's one thing I do like about this. It may have kind of changed my mind as far as quartz goes. I love not having to worry about it. It's heavy as hell. I think it's 86 grams, if I remember correctly, when I weighed it. On this particular strap, which did not come with the watch. I got this on eBay. And yeah, 86 grams for a quartz watch is pretty hefty. So it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel insubstantial in any way. Got some measurements here, guys. Lug to lug, 46.8 millimeters. Case width, 42.17. Case thickness, 13.45. And the lug width is 20. I should have planned better for this, and I'll take this apart and give you guys a close-up shot of this after, and I'll just drop it in. But the lug holes, where the actual spring bars go into on either side, are so shallow on this watch. I don't know if it was just a mistake with this particular one. Maybe it got through quality control. I don't know. It's so poorly done and so shallow that I do not trust it whatsoever. I feel like even though, you know, it has one of these situations going on where if one spring bar breaks, it won't fall off your wrist. I just feel like at any moment, one of these spring bars can pop out and I can lose the watch. And this watch with the discounts, taxes, shipping, all that stuff, I think was $313. And I don't really want $313 flying off my wrist suddenly. So, yeah, it would have been nice if they would have just had drilled lugs the whole way through, or drill them to at least the normal depth that any Timex or Casio or whatever other cheap watch you can think of does. This is kind of really strange and disappointing. The brushing on this feels really rough, like you can actually feel it, and I don't care at all about finishing on a watch. That's the last thing I'm ever concerned about, and I roll my eyes whenever guys are really talking about finishing. Like, who cares? Nobody can see it. You can barely see it with your own eyes. But on this particular one, I can feel it. That's how rough the brushing is. You can't say that it just doesn't feel too nice. Another thing is whenever you unscrew the crown, it feels gritty. Like you just feel metal rubbing against metal. It's not quality in any way, shape, or form. It's been keeping perfect time for close to a week now. I didn't even know if I had the crown out there when I was unscrewing it. It's so, God, it's a piece of shit. But let's stop being negative. I'm going to talk about things I do like on this watch. I like the bezel action. Pretty good. I have some Seikos. I've owned a few dive watches, not many. And I usually feel like I get no satisfaction whatsoever out of doing the bezel. On this one, it's great. I think I finally get why guys like fidgeting with it all day long. The handset, I like being able to look down and immediately differentiate between the hour and the minute. That's very helpful. I hate when a watch has similar hour and minute hands. This has my favorite complication of all time. I don't know if you call it a complication. I guess it is. Day-date. Of course it's a complication. I just think it's the most useful when guys hate having a date on a watch. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's like, don't you need to know the date for your job or for signing something, or I don't know. And even more than the date, there are times where I forget what day of the week it is. And I'm 40 years old. I don't think it has anything to do with my mind deteriorating yet, but it just feels like, at a glance, I want to know if I can park my car in this particular parking space in LA where I live. If you park in the wrong space at the wrong time of the week, you're going to get a ticket every time. This watch prevents that. So I love a day-date complication, to the point now where I almost have no interest in a watch without a date. I used to love, when I first got into this hobby, I loved the Rolex 1016 Explorer. Basically a no-date watches. They look so clean and organized and symmetrical, blah, blah, blah. But then I owned a few of them and they drove me crazy. I had no idea which day it was. So yes, this is great. I love it. What I don't love is that sometimes the day of the week on this particular watch doesn't seem to want to drop into place. It kind of gets stuck. So I have to go like this, toot, 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 and then it falls into place and stays that way for a day until I have to go toot, 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 again. It's good times. You know, you get what you pay for, I guess. It is Swiss made. As you can see, it has the T for tritium, only it's not tritium. It is superluminova. Whenever I asked the guy, I bought this on eBay. Apparently, it's the only place you can buy this particular watch. I said, what kind of lume is on it? He said, what do you mean, what kind of lume is on it? I said, well, I mean, like, what grade? Is it, you know, superluminova? Is it C1? Is it C3? What is it? I don't know what you're asking. I said, well, didn't you, like, literally create the watch? How do you not know what I'm asking? What did you tell the factory to put on it? He really couldn't give me an answer, so I don't know what's up with that. But I believe this is C3. It's extremely bright. I tested it against a Seiko that I have with Lumen Bright. It's actually brighter and longer lasting than that, so pretty cool. I wish he wouldn't have put the T on there for tritium, though, because it's clearly not tritium, because that's illegal now, I think, unless you have, like, a special license. I guess he did it for old time's sake, but I don't know. Just, if you're going to do that, you should have made the lume darker, like old radium or something that looked like it had been tritium from the 80s and just aged. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys what the lume looks like on this because it's pretty great. Alexa, turn all the lights off. Wow, she didn't make me yell at her that time. And I didn't even charge the lume, and look how bright it is. This is it after charging. Come on. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, hell yeah. It's pretty great, I have to admit. This is it on my 6-inch wrist. I have little baby wrists, maybe the smallest wrists on all of YouTube, maybe in all of America. I don't know. I don't think it's too huge. I honestly don't care anymore. I don't want to think about that anymore when I'm looking at watches, buying watches. Does it fit? Is it too big? What's the lug-to-lug? Blah, blah. I don't give a shit. If you like it, wear it. End of story. You know, you wouldn't make fun of a BMW owner for driving a BMW and wanting to look like an asshole. So if somebody wears this because they want to look like Magnum P.I, let them. Who cares? Let people do what they want to do. I don't think it's for me. Something about the style I'm just not crazy about. I've owned a couple of Doxo homages. They're kind of similar dimensions, maybe not as long lug to lug. I do feel like that's just more comfortable. It fits on the wrist better. I don't know, it's just balanced better in my opinion. This just feels super top heavy, and it might be because of this Marine Nationale strap that I have it on. And you guys can see just how small my wrist is, because most guys, when they use one of these straps, the buckle's down here, but on mine I have it all the way at the absolute tightest setting it can possibly be on, because otherwise it would fall off my wrist. And yeah, I don't really care about these straps. I'm not a huge fan of them. This is the first time I've used one. I don't want to use one again. I don't know about the Monin case anymore. I'm glad I tested this theory of me liking the Monin case on a cheaper watch, because, you know, these watches in this particular case can get pretty expensive. So, you know, you live, you learn. I'm going to flip it. Hopefully somebody else gets it and loves it and all that sort of thing. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I tried to make the review as enjoyable as possible for you. I'm so sorry if it wasn't, okay? But fuck off. This is usually where guys say like, subscribe, all that stuff. I don't care what you do. Don't like, don't subscribe. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to talk about this watch before I sold it. Adios, fellas.